on the National. Series, Would You Live Here? James Murray explored some accommodation options you might not have considered before, including one that has some people thinking outside the box, literally. Here's James with the first of two reports.
It was March when we visited what many people would consider a dream house. For Jocelyn Lebel and her husband Bernard Morin, this wide open space is the secret ingredient to a happy life.
The roof is very tall and it's created spaces.
The house itself is the family business on the cutting edge of construction.
And it's made it with 7 shipping containers.
Take a closer look at the house and start counting. You'll see there are 7 shipping containers here, stacked up, welded together. The 7th one is around back. Building this way cuts the cost to as little as $100,000 a house. There are fewer workers. The pieces are plunked down in a single day. The base materials are cheaper too. Super strong steel instead of chopped down trees or baked bricks. Using these containers saves between 11 and 30 trees per house, nearly 60 for a house this size, or nearly 10,000 bricks. It saves money too, about 60% of what it costs to put up a house with hammers and nails.
It's from my heart. I think I have kids. So for me it was a new way to build houses. I use less wood. I want my children to be proud of us. On building something differently.
And building something greener.
Greener.
Bernard is an architect, a businessman. He sees money to be made in building houses, hotels, even high-rises out of metal.
C'est vraiment le fast-food house.
It's really a fast food house, and so within 24 hours a house can be built. The market is exponential worldwide. There's lots of business.
Il y a beaucoup de business.
The kids seem happy here, even if William says his friends are confused at first. They say, is it a dumpster? I say, no, it's a shipping container from a train or a boat.
We can remove the floor of one container and allow the staircase to flow through.
Perception is a big problem for the small number of people promoting container living. Keith Dewey has been designing them for years.
People generally look for something new to build with. They don't look for something used. And these have, thousands, hundreds of thousands of miles on them.
But just look at what Keith has built with these used boxes. An urban masterpiece. His home has artistic features like chain link fencing, plenty of light, big bedrooms, all built for a fraction of the cost of a traditional house. From the outside, you can still see the shipping containers, 8 in all. Inside, Tripper the dog approves. Looking down at some BC subdivisions, you can see both the market potential and the missing trees. When Keith sees the docks in Vancouver, he sees material ready for construction. So the question our builders have is the same one we've been asking in this series all along. Would you be willing to change? Would you live here? Back in Saint-Adèle, at least one couple is thinking of answering, oui. Jocelyn and Bernard are closing in on a sale. But this is no green purchase for designer Xavier Bazanet, who says containers are cool.
It is important for me to have a unique house.
Why?
I don't know, I like, I'll be proud to show it to all my friends, other people. I like to have something different.
Xavier says he'd like to keep the shipping container look when his house is delivered. Shipping day happens in a snowstorm. The trucker is determined to go ahead. Ooh, 2 of the containers scraped together and some packing plywood is torn away. Jocelyn says no problem. The modules are so strong there's no need to worry. They're meant to be moved. And so they are, one last voyage. And boxes that filled houses all over the world will finally become a home all on their own.
Well, if you don't think a shipping container can ever be your home sweet home, then how about co-op housing? James Murray traveled to Burnaby, BC to see how the concept works.
Who brought the wine?
So when was the last time you and a bunch of your neighbors sat down to play a game? You know, a board game.
Now.
The answer to that question will tell you right away how different your life is from the people here in this room. They play together all the time.
It's a much better stress buster than zoning out in front of the TV, man.
One of the benefits, they say, of co-housing. It turns the people next door into something more.
Okay, I'm putting my name on there.
Just ask Cheryl, a psychologist who spent years living on her own in a Vancouver condo, all the time thinking that too often we Canadians treat the people we live beside like strangers, like problems.
We will do anything, phone the police, write the condo association, but do anything rather than actually get to know our neighbors and work out with them how we want to live together. And that's something we have here.
That's because she lives here in Cranberry Commons, inside something that's pretty rare in Canada, a co-housing community. Here's how it works. Of course, there are private residences here, townhouses, apartments, just like in any other development. They have their own kitchens, their own bedrooms, their own bathrooms. But it isn't what they have on their own that makes this place so different. It's what they share. This courtyard in the middle, for instance. Then there's the land around the development. And there are things like this great common room. It's open 24 hours a day to anyone who lives here. And there's more. There's space for a common garden, a common laundry room, places for kids to play, bookworms to read. The cost of hot water, even the internet is shared. There's a woodworking room, and every one of these spaces is designed so people can do things together. Helping out, hanging out, it's all voluntary. But our game players, they call themselves Cranberries, say it's central to how they live.
And the last time I played it, I lost.
Alex has lived here his whole life. A life filled with challenges, but his parents say co-housing makes it easier to deal with Alex's autism. Sometimes he can seem high-strung. People here don't treat him like he's misbehaving.
The better his experiences are, the better his development goes, and it's a big deal. It's a really big deal for him because it's not just what happens for him today and this week and this month, but it's how he's going to grow up into an adult.
Mom and Teresa and Dad are on this diet.
So when Alex returns a borrowed cup of sugar or even some bananas, he's met with a smile.
Oh, thank you very much. What did you have, pancakes?
No, protein shakes.
Oh, sounds good. Thank you. Whoops.
5-second rule.
It's clear this kid is loved by more than just his parents. Almost everyone here puts something into the community and gets something in return. Ian handles car repairs. Someone else manages the recycling. June is 87 years old. She helps reupholster the chairs. Sit her down in one and she'll tell you that living here is better than a senior citizens complex.
They'll help you, and if there's a lot of snow, they'll ask me if they can pick up something for me from the store. It's a wonderful way to spend the last years of your life. I'm so thankful.
The Cranberries say their way of living just makes sense. Usually, to put up a development, you need a developer, someone to build the actual building, then sell pieces of it off, chunk by chunk, to buyer after buyer for a profit. Throw in a couple of glitzy attractions like a swimming pool or a gym to rake in the buyers. With co-housing, the people who live here are the developers. They put up the building, they save the profits, and everything in the development suits their needs exactly. Here, that means space for a community to flourish. This advocate and co-housing consultant lives at Cranberry Commons.
Having more connection with your neighbors, loving more, is going to create a better quality of life.
It seems like there could be one of these in every community of the country. Why isn't there?
It's very difficult to find land that will accommodate this that isn't already owned by a developer.
In a country like Canada's shortage of land?
Isn't that amazing?
There are a few new co-housing communities in the works and a few dozen already running. Windsong in Langley, BC is one of Canada's oldest examples. Back at the Commons, soup's on. Actually, soup's gone. The weekly potluck supper disappears quickly.
What's this up here?
Followed by a planning meeting. Everything from repairs to how rooms get used, all of it is governed by consensus. So decisions are made, and another night is spent together. James Murray, CBC News, Burnaby, British Columbia.
If you'd like to see all the stories from our special series, Would You Live Here? Just head to our website, cbcnews.ca/thenational, and follow the link.